Okay, so today I'm taking you behind the scenes a little bit, and I'm taking you through the process of planning my summer capsule wardrobe for 2022. Because the truth is that whenever I show up here to show you my seasonal capsule wardrobe, it's all beautiful and completed and perfect. And in reality, capsule wardrobes take a long time to build. So I usually start planning about a month in advance. If we are meeting for the first time, hello there. My name is Fernanda. I'm a capsule wardrobe stylist, and in this video, I'm gonna take you through the process that I follow, not only to build my own capsule wardrobes, but the process that I follow when I take on a client and I help them build a capsule wardrobe for themselves. Because at the end of the day, I am here to help you build a wardrobe that you absolutely love. So if you're into that, don't forget to subscribe, say hi to Buttercup who's over there, and give this video a huge thumbs up. Let's get started. Okay, so in previous years, what I would do is that I would start by gathering inspiration and creating a Pinterest board of what I wanted my capsule wardrobe to be. And over the years, I've learned that that's actually the wrong way to go about this. Because what inevitably happens is that we start pinning things that we are inspired by or things that we aspire to have. But that's not necessarily reflective of the things that are already in our wardrobe. So what I have found to be the best way to begin is to have a little bit of thinking time or reviewing the notes of previous capsules if you're somebody who's dressed from capsule wardrobes in the past and have something to look back on. So in my case, I obviously create content for YouTube, so I have all of these videos in the past that I can look back to and review what worked, refresh my memory and remind myself of what I've had in the past, what worked, what didn't, and what was really lacking. So for me, summer has always been a little bit tricky because it's an outlier in my wardrobe. The summer season in New York City where I live, it is very, very hot. And a lot of the clothes that I wear during the summer are not really practical for the rest of the year. Second, nothing, absolutely nothing, not a single thing in my summer wardrobe previous to this year was in my colors. I recently discovered that I am a house of color winter. So I really need to start rebuilding that summer capsule to reflect the colors that I now know suit me best. And finally, I had a lot of pieces in my summer capsule that I was just not at all excited to wear, that I wasn't actually gravitating towards in previous summers. They were either too showy and didn't fit my current modesty preferred dress code for the age that I am right now, or they were just like the wrong material, you name it. For one reason or another, I was not wearing them. And when you're not actually getting use of the items in your capsule, I recommend honestly just parting ways with them, because holding on to something just with the expectation of wearing it eventually doesn't serve anybody. So once I've reviewed my notes and I have an idea of what wasn't working in previous years and what was, the next step is to shop my closet for things that are actually going to work. And honestly, in previous years, I would take everything out of my closet, put it on the bed, and start building the capsule wardrobe physically that way. But since I started using Open Wardrobe, I actually do it digitally, which is significantly easier. But the first thing I have to do is make sure everything in my wardrobe is photographed, because believe it or not, I don't have the habit of photographing an item every time I'm going to add it to my capsule wardrobe. So I do have a couple of items that I have to photograph right now, including these ones that I want to show you. These two pairs of shoes from Vivaia's new summer collection. So if you know Vivaia, you know that they're a company that creates footwear out of recycled materials. But what I like the most about them is that they really put comfort first. Their shoes are significantly more comfortable than the majority of shoes out there on the market, while still being very, very stylish. So they've sent me two pairs of shoes for the summer collection, shoes that I actually got to pick myself and that I could see myself getting a lot of wear out of, because the first thing I thought I needed was a great summer sandal. So the thing with summer, at least for me, is that I tend to feel like I am significantly underdressed the majority of the time. My personal style does feel much more comfortable when I'm a little dressed up or a little elevated. And with summer, a lot of the times, like I mentioned, I just feel underdressed. And a lot of that has to do with the shoes. I'm wearing, because I'm hot, shoes that are just like a whatever sandal or a sneaker, and I don't feel like I'm as put together as I like to be. So I knew I needed a summer sandal. So the first item I need to photograph is the Vivaia Jade sandal. This sandal is super trendy right now. It has a square toe, which is if you know, very trendy right now, probably the trendiest pair of shoes that I have in my wardrobe. But what I like about it is that it's easy to slip on. It does have a little bit of a heel. I believe this is about an inch, so nothing super crazy, something that I'm comfortable wearing. But it can be dressed up or down super easily, and I can wear it with a nice dress out to dinner, or I can wear it with jeans for a more casual look and still feel a little bit put together, but be very comfortable, because something that I really like about Vivaia shoes is that the sole is meant to be super comfortable. So in this case, the sole is made from microfibers, and the top, which actually has a little bit of texture, let me show you, is made from very thin woven yarns, which is actually very comfortable and a little bit stretchy, which will be very comfortable on your foot. And this is something that works really well for me. Just a little bit of texture or a little bit of detail on all of my items makes me feel like there's a little bit of something special in my pieces. This material on the uppers is actually pretty breathable, so it keeps your foot warm in the shoe, even if it's really, really hot out, which keeps it from sweating, which can get gross. And something that I really like is that they have these anti-sliding grip outsoles, which is really nice on a slide, because sometimes slides, your foot not only slides inside of the shoe, but then it like doesn't grip and it just slides all around while you're walking, and it's very uncomfortable and difficult to wear, but not with these. So these are really nice. These are the first ones. These are the Jade sandals. And the second shoe that I want to show you today is Vivaia's Aria 5 Flat, which if you've been with me for a while, you know was included in my spring capsule wardrobe, and it's been part of my collection for the last few months. If you know Vivaia, you know that they had their traditional Aria Flat, and this one is actually an improvement of that version. What's different is that they actually made the toe box 5 degrees wider, which makes it significantly more comfortable, something that I have found to be invaluable. And what I really like about the Aria 5 is really in the insole, because this insole is super cushioned and it essentially makes it feel like you're walking on a cloud. It is incredibly comfortable and something that I really like, because I tend to step really hard on my heels and wear my shoes out like crazy. And even though both pairs of shoes that I happen to own from Vivaia are black, the Aria 5 in particular comes in a bunch of different colors from a bunch of different seasons. And something that I really appreciate about working with Vivaia was that when we were ironing out the details of this partnership, we decided that instead of then sending me yet another brand new pair of shoes to share with you, we were going to showcase a pair of shoes that I already owned and loved for my collection that we had used in a previous partnership, because that would be way more sustainable than sending me a pair of shoes that probably doesn't match my personal style that I was never going to wear again. And this told me that they really do believe in their value of sustainability, because I believe that it's in their day-to-day actions that a brand really showcases what their true values are. And part of the reason why we could do this, and one of my favorite things about the Vivaia footwear and their entire line of products, is that they're machine washable. So even if your shoes have been through a little bit of a rough time and they're not looking brand new, all you have to do is put them in a delicates bag and throw them in the washing machine. And then when they come out, lay them out to dry for about an hour and they're as good as new. It's an incredible feature. So make sure to check out the Vivaia website, which I will leave linked for you in the description box below, as well as these two particular pairs of shoes. And if you do find something that you like, make sure to use my discount code Fernanda for 18% off your entire order. Doesn't matter if you're buying shoes or a purse or what have you, Fernanda for 18% off your order. And I'll leave that linked in the description box below. So once I have everything photographed on Open Wardrobe, then I can create a sub wardrobe and basically start tap, and adding all of the items that could potentially work for my summer capsule. And this is significantly easier than doing everything physically, and this way I can see everything at once. And once I have the items that could potentially work that I've shopped my closet for, then I move on to step 3, which is creating my inspiration board. And here I do a couple of different things. The first thing that I do is that I specifically hunt for outfits using the items that I already own. And if you missed my Pinterest recreation video a couple of weeks ago, I will leave it linked for you in the cards, because that's a great reference about how I hunt for outfit ideas using the things that I already own so that I don't have to shop more than I need to. Also, I look at what I actually need. Like for example, I think this summer I'm going to need a dress because a lot of the dresses that I own right now are actually not super summer friendly. So I'm going to want something that's a little breezier. And also, I kind of want more separates because in previous capsules for the summer, I've had a lot of like one piece and go items. And what I noticed was that I was getting a little bit of wardrobe boredom because I was basically repeating the same outfit over and over again. And finally, I look for inspiration for people whose style I admire. This changes season to season and depending on what my taste is like at the moment, but right now I'm really loving Chelsea Fagan, like the founder of the Financial Diet's wardrobe. I think she does summer very well while still looking put together but fresh. And there's a House of Color consultant whose style I've been really liking. Her name is Molly King. I will also leave her linked in the description box below, but her style is closer to mine while still being very colorful, and she's also a winter. Do you have a style icon? Because if you do, I would love to know who it is. Please leave it in the comments below. And once I have the inspiration board, vision board, direction board, whatever you want to call it, this is when I actually start to identify the gaps. If you've seen my 3 steps to find your style video, I do something very similar, except instead of finding my style, what I do is now I'm trying to plug in the holes for my summer capsule. So I start hunting and looking for things that are coming up over and over again that I actually need. And personally, this is the point where I start plugging in specific items that I already have in my wardrobe into the capsule wardrobe formula so that I can make sure I identify the gaps and actually shop for items that I'm actually going to need. Because the majority of the times, I go out shopping and I'm distracted by tops a lot of the times, and really what my wardrobe needs is bottoms. So if I already have 5 tops that are going to make it into my capsule wardrobe, I know to not shop for any more of those. And whenever I come across a gap in my wardrobe, I try to mentally plug it in and think, what will go well in this hole? So for example, if I have 2 tops and no bottom that could match, then I think of different bottoms that could work with both of these tops, whether it be a skirt, a pant, or whatever it is. And this is somewhere where I have really enjoyed using Open Wardrobe, because if I find something in an online store, for example, I can add it to my Open Wardrobe and create different outfits with that specific item. So it helps me visualize how many options I actually have with that item if I were to purchase it. And based on this, I essentially start building a shopping list. So something that I'm noticing, I think, is that a lot of my summer pieces are solids, and a lot of my wardrobe actually has solids. And I feel like my outfit has a little bit of interest when it has some print. So I am going to be looking for a few more items with prints or patterns. And as I mentioned before, I do think I need a few more bottoms, because some of the bottoms that I had in last year's capsule, like they were just really hot. The materials were really warm. So I do need a couple of bottoms that will keep me really cool, but that won't be super heavy. So I'll start hunting for those. And once I've gone through all of these steps and I've kind of built my shopping list, then at this point, I actually set a budget. And sometimes I have a budget ahead of time and then I go through all of the steps. But I kind of prefer to do it backwards, because at least now I have an idea and an awareness of what I'm actually going to need. So I know that if the list is really long, because on top of needing summer clothes, I need a swimsuit and new underwear and socks and all of these things, then I know I need to be realistic with my budget and that I'm actually going to need to extend it a little bit more. But if I know that I just need a few pieces or just like maybe a pair of shoes or whatever, then I know that I can set a lower budget and actually just hunt for pieces that I'm going to keep for a long time. And at this point, we have reached either the funnest part or the most dreaded part, depending on how you feel, because I find that shopping is very polarizing. But this is the part where I actually start hitting the shops, the thrift stores, and the online stores, looking for those items that could potentially plug the holes in my capsule wardrobe. And something that I do want to tell you is that this takes time. Oftentimes we think like, oh, we're just gonna go shopping one afternoon and find everything. And in reality, that's not necessarily the case. Not only if you're online shopping, you are like trying to guess for sizes and maybe you have a couple of returns, but if you're shopping in person, then sometimes it has happened to me that I have brought something home and realized that the color was slightly off and I couldn't really pick it up because of the color of the light in the store. So I do recommend take your time. And this is why I start prepping for my capsule wardrobe and planning for my capsule wardrobe significantly earlier that I'm going to need to wear the clothes. And if you are one of those people who hates shopping, frankly, I used to be with you. It used to be one of those chores that I just had to put up with every so often that was really like not inspirational and would leave me completely defeated, and it was exhausting until I had my personal color analysis done, because this completely changed the game for me. Now I go into the store, instead of considering everything, because everything could make a good addition to my wardrobe, I am now hunting through a very specific lens of color. So instead of being a chore that was dreadful, it has now become this process of inspiration and fun that I now kind of look forward to every time. So if you haven't gotten your colors done, I highly recommend it for anybody. I think it's an incredibly valuable knowledge for men, women, whatever you consider yourself to be. And I actually made a whole video about my whole experience, which I will leave linked for you here. Highly recommend you click on the screen now and check it out next.